Welcome to the Live Large podcast.
What's up, guys? I don't know. It's just fun. This one is funny for me, like recording a podcast, because like you guys are just my buddies. So it's just like, what's up? And I'm just kind of
the whole point is like that's kind of the whole point is like more just kind of like bullshitting. We like kind of going off the beaten path a little bit and trying to go a little bit less lifting and more nonsense type stuff.
Yeah, we like when our guests rip their bongs on camera.
Yeah. Don't worry. The only way that I got through the last like 2 weeks of prep and the water cut, and I guess the week after the competition now, I am not going to not be stoned at any point. Like I can't. I physically cannot do it.
So to preface all of this is now a few days after Joe rebroke his 220 and sleeves all-time record squat with 848.
Yeah, 848.8 or whatever the fuck. I've just been saying 849 because it's easy.
Yeah, well, he did. So first of all, everyone saw that squat and saw the number. His second attempt, he pulled a wild bitch move and just chipped it instead of doing the full proper 2.5 kilos. Mm-hmm. So at least he redeemed himself and broke it like a real man on his third attempt to fully make it count. But
hey, just tactics, bro. I just want you know how it goes. Like I honestly, like one of the biggest things that I was most proud of, or like what I thought was the coolest fucking thing, was the fact that I was opening at 804, because my first attempt was 804, and like I've never, like I remember like 2 or 3 years ago where I was like, man, I really want to squat 804 in competition, raw, and now it's like, oh shit, I'm opening with this. It's just kind of surreal to be at that, but like open at 804. Chip my all-time on the second, just to guarantee a broken record on the day, and then just kind of like taking what's there on the third. And honestly, like I look back on the third, because I called for that 848.9 or 385 kilos or whatever. I was good for like 855, 854, or 860 or whatever, maybe even 865. But that's why I do that, like just kind of. We talked about it at the meet, Nick, like just kind of like slowly stepping my way up. And then if there does come a year where Jordan or like Chad decides to, Jordan Wong or Chad Penson decide to like actually eat into the 220s and hang out at 220 and like push me higher, then I can actually like go for something like insane.
Like 400 kilo.
Yeah. I mean, the end goal. Yeah. Yeah, the end goal is obviously like I want to have the heaviest 4 times body weight squat in the history of powerlifting, raw squat in the history of powerlifting, which would be 400 kg at 100 kg. So
and that's just a badass squat. That's just a badass number.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Like, I mean, dude, I can't even. It's just badass. Like, it feels so insane. Like squatting 850 pounds. Like anything over 8. Like the biggest thing that I remember, like the feeling I remember the most about my like second and third attempts, what wasn't even like the actual squat itself. It was like the walkout and then the locking out of the weight, because like the walkout, I can feel like just the whole thing like pushing me around, and I can feel like my spine moving and like just my hip shifting, and it's crazy to feel that. And then further than that, like when I lock the weight out, I could feel, because the bar is like whippy. It's like, there's so much weight on it. It's bending. I could feel like each little oscillation and like impact on my back. And it's like, holy fuck, this is a lot.
Oh yeah. Does it feel any different breaking your own record?
I mean, like, kind of like, yes, I'm sure the answer is yes. I'm just like trying to figure out how to say it. It's just like, because you guys see me in the back room, or like have seen me or seen the videos and whatever. It's like I'm back there like saying crazy shit to myself. And a big thing with this one is like, it's my fucking record. Like I take it, like, it's obviously I'm not like this in normal like day-to-day conversation, but like when I'm competing, I get offended, or I like take offense to the fact that other people are even trying there, because like the whole going into this meet, like Jordan Wong got into a car accident, so we couldn't go head to head. And then Chad was injured and just doing Chad shit, only like squatting 4 times, going into like 6 meets or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But like I didn't have anybody like up my ass, like pushing me to be like, oh, I got to keep this guy like away from my record. But then Hassam Atiyah ended up getting into the meet like 2 weeks out. And he is a 242 who squats like almost identically to me. We have a very, very similar build. And we're friends. So we were just kind of like pushing one another back and forth. And then Cade Proctor out of Strong Barbell Club, he also had an incredible squat. But like on the day of, I was like competing and lifting, and I let myself get pissed or like let that fuel me, because there was a there was like a $500 prize to whoever had the heaviest squat at the meet. But 2, it's just like fuck $500, like who cares? It's like, this is a pride thing. I was like, I'm gonna have the heaviest squat at this meet as a 220, and like, how dare you fucking guys even think that you can try to do more than that?
Well, and like you said, you know, if Chad or Jordan ever want to compete again, I mean, you just set the bar even higher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obviously much easier like last year, right? When you and Jordan are going head to head, and it's like, the motivation is like standing next to you. You know, it's like, you don't even have to think or try. It's, so it's probably much less manufactured. Like this time, it's like, all right, I got to find something, and you'll find something. But when it's you and Jordan going head to head, it's like,
it's a chess game.
Oh, what the fuck? Yep. It's right here. It's like I'm literally squatting, an attempt after, the guy who took my record, right? It's oh shit, was last year more satisfying having that head-to-head battle than this year, or is it still all-time world record satisfaction, or was there that extra layer of fun, kind of getting to go head-to-head?
I think they were both satisfying in different ways. Like last year, it was more of a like do or die, like you rise to the occasion or you don't type thing, and like that was satisfying in the fact that I know that I've been competing for so long and competing in different things for so long. It's like I know that I can execute. So to like see it and have it like prove it to myself again that I could like make a call and then execute on the day of, that's something that like I'm really proud of, and I was really proud of last year. But further than that, this year, even still, it's the same thing, because you think about it, and it's like I'm executing in a completely different context, because now I don't have that like, hey, it's do or die. You have to do this. Like if I fucked up somehow and only got my opener, I still would have had the all-time world record. So there would have been like no real like loss there. But that is kind of a reason that I'm proud of the fact that I could do it on my own and like not just motivate myself, but like expect that performance from myself and continue to push the envelope higher, because I kind of look at like it is an ego thing, because I look at this record as my record. It's my record, and even like Chad's my teammate, but Chad talks about coming up to 220s and taking that all-time record, and he doesn't say like, oh, Joe's record. He says the current all-time world record squat at 220 or something along those lines, and I'm like, I hear that, I remember that. And it's like, I'm not going to forget that. So every time, even if it's just me at a meet, I'm approaching the number with like, because you guys can see, like, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm playing it conservative, but I'm not going as do or die as I could. So like I hit the 849. I probably, if I needed to, I could have hit like 865 or 871 or whatever on the day. But it's just every time I approach this record, it's not only about taking my taking it again, breaking it again, and upping the bar just a little bit. It's like I look at it as slowly and methodically nailing the lid of a coffin down and putting an end to it. So even if there are other people that are like, oh, like I want to go for this record, I want to go for the 220 squat record. It's not a question of, oh, it's the 220 squat record. It's Joe Sullivan's squat record. It's his record that is going to stand for a long time, because I look at it like that, and I want to kind of etch myself into a little piece of history like that, because I eventually, like, I plan to surpass the 242 all-time squat record, weighing in at 220. If possible, I want to hit 881 at 220, and if I continue to progress in a similar manner that I am now, and continue to leave a little bit on the board, I want to squat 900 in sleeves eventually. If I could do that at 220, great. If not, that's a perfectly fine all-time world record at 242 as well. So who knows?
Now it seems like with powerlifting, it's like there's records, are broken almost monthly. It's like everything's constantly churning. But the records that have someone's name attached to them, it's like those are the ones. It's like, when you have the Uris that come around, the Ed Cones that come around, that really push things up that whole nother level. It's like, I think it's about like a decade's the line, right? Where it's like, if you get a record to hang for a decade, it's like, because so few people have ever been able to do that. That's when it becomes like, oh, this is Joe's record, right? Like it's for a year or two, that's a normal powerlifting thing. Like the next guy comes and breaks it, and it kind of is what it is. Like kind of what's going on with all the deadlifts and stuff now. It's like so many guys that are right there that just keep bouncing back and forth. It's not like, oh, there's this person here, and then everyone else starts here. Like it's but that's when I think you really get that true ownership. It's the time that the record's really yours, without ever giving it up, or it's so far gone that it's like everyone just like, fuck it, I'm not even trying. Like that's his. I'll change weight classes or try to bench more or something, whatever. Like,
you're doing what Dan Bell did. I mean, you're just setting the bar so fucking high where it's going to seem like it's impossible to ever achieve.
Yeah, and that's exactly the goal. Like I don't want to make people not try for it. I want people to try for it, but I want to make it such an unrealistic thing for the average, or not even the average, but like for most elite powerlifters to go for. And I mean, it's obviously like the whole thing is like completely arbitrary, because it's not like I'm doing this with a total or whatever. It's a single lift. But still, it's like, it's something to hang my hat on, and it's something that I've kind of developed and gotten really, really proficient at. So I'm just continuing to kind of like etch my way up. And if I can stay active and stay continually competing, like you guys know that I plan to, just kind of chipping my way down that little time frame of like a decade or however long, and just continually rebreaking it, not letting some people get close, but surpassing again and again, then great.
Now, would you give up your record right now? And I'm not saying your squat actually decreases. Someone passes you tomorrow if you got to add 200 pounds on your deadlift.
Yeah. Yes. 100%, because that would, like, let's say that takes 30 or 40 pounds off of my squat, and I go from like 849 to like 804 or 811. That takes a 700-pound deadlift to a 900-pound deadlift, and with my bench, even if I were to hit my opener, which was 496, that's still like 8 plus 9 plus 5, which is like a 2200 total. Yeah. So yes.
So pretty definitive. If you could trade squat for total, you would still do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even after you shy of an all-time world record, having that, it's like, oh, you go 1,000 kilos at 220, right? Like that's another line, right? But
yeah, and yeah, I'd absolutely do that. Like, not only because I'm not even looking at it like, oh, I'll give that up. It's just like, good, let someone be better than me, and I'll catch them again. Like, because even if I were to do that, if I were to achieve that total like tomorrow, I still don't like, I don't think I'd be done. I don't know when I'm going to be done. Like, I still feel like I have because I'm 29 and I still feel like I have 5-6 years of like competing at the top before I'm like, okay, we got to start pulling stuff back, like barring any freak injury or like, not even freak injury, just like stuff happens, but barring anything like that. But yeah, like because I mean, look at the way that I train. Like, it's not as if I am just like I hear people say it that I am just a squat guy, and I guess like based on my total, I am a squat guy. But it's not as if I just like say, okay, well, fuck my bench or fuck my deadlift. I put just as much energy and focus into those as I can, because I don't just want to be a squat guy. Like, totals win meets, and totals are like that's what makes you the best power lifter on the day. And I'm just continually to work towards that too. So
now, you're talking about, next goals, whatever, and finality of this. Like, do you think is there something that actually, all right, you check this box, you get to this level, like you're riding off in the sunset, or do you think that just moves the goalposts for you and it's just on to the next thing past that?
it's a little bit of both, because it's more so along the lines of like moving the goalpost and having to have like a conversation with yourself and being like, how far can we move these goalposts? Like, how much in flux are we going to allow these to be for like my life? Because we all have these goals. Like, everybody looks at like, oh, I want to bench 300 pounds one day. Then they bench 300 pounds. And they're like, man, I could bench 400 pounds one day. And it's not as if that thought goes away ever. We always, as long as we're like healthy and enjoying what we're doing, you're always looking to do better or do a little bit more. So I don't know. Like, I've kind of looked at it as like, I'm going to be doing this until I think I've done the best that I can achieve. And the fact that coming out of this meet specifically, like the fact that there's still pounds on the board in regards to my squat, the fact that I got a majority of my bench strength back, and I made all the progress due to the nerve damage and stuff this off season, but then went 1 for 3 due to my butt popping up and then the arguable like up and down motion of the bar on the third attempt, and then hurting myself a little bit. So my deadlift being impacted also, that's pretty definitively like, hey, you're not done, so even if like that's certainly not going to be my last powerlifting meet. And even if I were to have hit like the ideal numbers on the day, which were like 850, 540, and then like 730 or something like that, even if I were to do that and get like a 2130, 2140 total, I'd probably still be looking at it and being like, I think I could do a little bit better. So I think it is a lot of moving the goalposts, but then also just kind of being realistic on where the top end for you as an individual lies. Because there does get to be a point where it's like, man, I don't know if I'm willing to do I'm not willing to do what it takes, but I'm not willing to like suffer the ramifications of what I have to do what it takes, whether it's like the drug use or the focus and the detraction of like other aspects of your life or anything. Like, you can do a lot, but you can also give up a lot. And I'm not saying sacrifice, because it's like, it is a choice, but you can let this sport run your life to the point where it becomes like, yeah, you're getting better, but only in one area, and how many other areas are you getting worse?
Yeah, it's like, yo, you're really poor and everyone in your life hates you, but you got an all-time world record that will last for 3 months. Congrats.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
So leading up to this meet prep, you were chasing the Tom Platt squat record.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is a record with someone's name on it because it's been around for so long, right?
Yep, exactly.
Do you feel like chasing that record helped or hindered your meet prep?
So both, because a thing that I really, really benefited from was like the focusing. the focusing on training on like different energy systems, because I got into really, really great cardiovascular shape.
Mhm.
And I was timing all of my rests. I felt like a linebacker. Like I felt like I could try to like walk onto an NFL team and like do pretty decently, just because I felt like a real athlete. So in that context, and like how much I was able to recover, how much muscle I was able to build, and just my work capacity that I was able to like max out, I definitely think that it helped and it benefited me. But as like on a net, like benefit versus like negative, I think it was more negative than it was positive, because I could have done the same energy system type stuff in different ways without having to squat as much as I was squatting and as frequently as I was squatting. And I think because at the meet, like Nick, you saw my back, like by the end of deadlifts, I was like hobbling around on one leg. I don't think a lot of that is from deadlifting. I think that's from the squatting, because as we were training for the Tom Platt's record, I was getting such horrible like rib pain, like middle of my back. Like I continually kept like putting a rib out, because it's just so many repetitions for so many times, and so much time under tension. Because like for all the 20 rep sets, like the bar's on your back for like longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I think it helped in some ways, but this upcoming year I'm not going to do it again because it was worse than meet prep. Like I was beat up, like not doing good
Yeah, the
by
volume
the end
was
of that.
unreal.
Huh?
The volume was unreal.
Yeah, and that's it. I felt it like breaking me, and I was just like, by the end of that, I was like, I'm just ready to get this over with. So I told Jake about like, which for people who are listening, Jake is my coach, my best friend, my business partner. Like we coach one another, we do the whole thing. But I was telling him about a month out from the meet, I was like, hey, I know we're not even at the meet yet, and we haven't gotten through that, but like just FYI, I'm not going to do the Platts thing, because I love bodybuilding. I think bodybuilding is cool. I have a lot of respect for those guys. I love just being strong and doing like crazy feats of strength and shit. But I don't feel like I've done my best in powerlifting. And like we mentioned earlier in the conversation, I'm not done. So that's where I want my focus to lie right now. So
you're not going to chase Bree onto the stage and
nah,
do a show together to completely ruin your relationship or anything like that.
not currently. Think I don't think it would be wise for us to be in prep at the same time, based on how I was when she was in prep and then how she was when I was in prep. Because very different reasons for arguments and struggles and shit. But there were some times where it was a little shitty. So
that's prep.
Yeah, it is.
It is what it is, and that's what you have to kind of have those like prep blinders on, to where it's like, okay, cool. I'm instead of dwelling on that, I'm writing that off, and we're clear.
Yep.
Okay.
It's literally. There were so many times where I like talk to myself, and I'm like, "This is temporary. It's not how she actually is. Like, it's cool. This is just temporary. This is prep Bree."
Yeah.
So no posing trunks in your future anytime soon.
It's like a period that lasts 12 weeks.
Huh?
So it's like a period that lasts 12 weeks.
Yeah. Yes. Honestly,
but constant mood swings.
Yeah. Yep. But no posing trunks as of yet. I like how I look, and I will do it. I'm gonna do it eventually, just from a fucking marketing standpoint. Honestly, like not even because like I want to see if I can do it. I just think it's smart. But also because I want to see like if I can do it, but not right now. I have other things to do.
It's like, you guys all talk shit about me being short and ugly for so fucking long. Watch this. I'm gonna make myself look good.
Exactly.
Well, you
That is
also,
exactly
I mean,
it.
you also do have really good physique for a powerlifter. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're a fat, sloppy powerlifter that has to, get rid of all this baby fat and all this other stuff. You look great with your shirt off, even when you're cutting weight. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
no bodybuilder, but you look stage ready.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like once once I actually, because like with the water cut, like I'm actually like getting rid of the inflammation and like all of the subcutaneous water that like you're holding on to because you're training so fucking heavy and your neurology is so upregulated because we're all fucking semi-autistic neurotic fucks, and like, and then get rid of all that shit, and then it's like, oh, I'm actually kind of lean. So it's like, I feel like it would be cool. Just, like, it's one of those things where like I just want to do it one day to like have the photos and be like, hey, I did that, like neat, because that's even like what water cut photos are. I have like photos from the Airbnb where I was like flexing, and it's like I have spider web veins down my hamstrings, and like there's like striations in my glutes and shit, and it's just like, it's just cool to like look at that and be like, holy fuck, I look like that, or not even like right now, but like I looked like that, I did that. That's crazy.
Most of your life currently revolves around powerlifting. What's your origin story?
Man, like it's such a long time ago. I know like people have heard it before, so I won't go like super into detail, but like I used to be like, I've seen every end of the spectrum in terms of like weight loss or like fitness or whatever. Because when I was like 12 and 13 years old, I was probably 300 pounds. I never weighed myself, just because like I hated it. But when I entered high school and did like started football practice, my official team weight was like 289 pounds at like 14 years old, and I started that, and the freshman football defensive coordinator was John Zinsmaster, and he was the coach of the powerlifting club team at the high school that I went to, and you automatically got a varsity letter on the wrestling team if you joined the powerlifting club after football. So I was like, okay, I want a varsity letter, so I'm going to do that, and that's literally all that happened. But then as I did it more and more and got into it, they were like, you're too big to be this weak. So like you need to lift weights and get stronger. And I just kept doing it. And I had like, it was high school powerlifting for me. I was like, I'd do it for like 6 months and then kind of fuck off and play video games and get fucked up and like come back 6 months, do it, blah, 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 on and off. But it was like, I'm grateful for it because it got in my head at that point. Like I knew what powerlifting was. So then when I went to college and actually went to college for wrestling, but quit my first year just because I was burnt out and wasn't enjoying it. I didn't like some of the guys on the team and just wasn't having fun. And so I quit, but then I was like, okay, I still need to do something. And that's where I'm like, okay, I know what powerlifting is. I'll just do some like powerlifting programs in the weight room, do that shit. And then I ended up just signing up for a competition my freshman year of college. And that was the USAPL Battle of the Great Lakes in like Medina, Ohio, like 2012 or something. And the rest is history because I just never really stopped since then.
Shout out Medina, Nick's favorite place of all time.
Not your rational favorite. You miss Ohio at all?
I do. I miss Ohio. Like I love Las Vegas, but I do miss parts and people of Ohio.
Having a normal life instead of like chaos, mayhem, Las Vegas life that is the extreme of everything at all times.
It is cranked up to 100 in every aspect of the world because it's like, oh, you want to go out to the bar? Here, you're gonna stay out till 6 a.m. and get offered like every recreational drug you can think of, and also maybe meet this celebrity and blah 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 blah. And then it's like, oh, you don't want to go to the bar and you just want to relax? Don't worry, we have fucking oxygen bars and ketamine therapy and like weed lounges where you can go and get fucking stoned out of your mind and not have to move for like 6 hours, blah blah.
Yeah, when you first moved out there, I remember seeing pictures of you and I was like, he is out till 3 a.m. every single fucking night.
Bro, I thought I was gonna die, man. Like there was a serious honeymoon phase where like Bree and I were like, we need to stop because like it's like, you guys know me, I'm too fucking social. So I like talk to everybody and I'm like, what's up? Who are you? My name's Joe. How you doing? I'm your buddy now, blah, blah, blah. And I make friends with all these fucking promoters out here. So now it's like, oh, hey, we got a table at fucking Excess for like chain smokers or some shit. They're not going to come on until 2 a.m, but the table's worth 10 grand. So like, come on out. And it's like, okay. And then we're out until 6 a.m. And then it's like, hey, we got a table at Encore Beach Club in the afternoon. Let's go take a nap, fucking lay down, may or may not do some recreational drugs to wake up, come back and be out until fucking 8 o'clock at night, and then come back. And it's like, I'm going to die. This shit is fucking horrible. I don't know how people do this. We did it for like that summer. We fucking moved out here and it was like fucking day club, nightclub, day club, sleep for 2 days, and just do it over again. And it was like, fuck, man. And it was great because like you meet a lot of people, you have so much fun, and like a big part, like I built a really, really nice network out here because of it. But it's just also like, oh my God, man, I can't do this shit all the year. Like we went out after Bree's show like a month and a half ago. So I'm not even like partying. Cause like I'm just have like fucking 2 Miller Lights or some shit kind of night. And we're still out, like it's me and her some of her girlfriends, and like we're out till like 3:30 in the morning. And it's like, I can't fucking live like this, man. I feel like this city aged me like a decade in just being here and being outside for like a year.
Now, is there like an expiration date to that though? Like, is there like a point where you're gonna get to where you're like, yo, I gotta get the fuck out of Las Vegas. Like, I need normal life again. Like Ohio, I'm coming back. Like,
I really like when you're in the honeymoon phase, like you don't think like that. But now that I'm like kind of away from it, I'm like, I still love Las Vegas. I love having the option to be like, hey, let's go to the steakhouse at like midnight, whatever, which it's super cool. But then you also realize like, man, we could, like flights to Vegas are cheap too. And like, we could just come here to do that. And it's like, it's having that, like that price limit where it's like, I want to be able to be in a position where like, I don't need to think about this purchase. And I'm like, this will make me happy. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then you do it. And I'm like, I could do that and like fly here from Ohio. Or I was talking to Bree the other day and I'm like, like property is like real cheap in some areas in Michigan right now. We could like build a mansion. And it's like, that's not a bad idea because I don't see us leaving anytime soon, but I also really don't see us like raising kids in Las Vegas at all.
probably not ideal. It's like, kid, oh, I'm gonna go to the corner store to get candy. It's like there's 4 bums just methed out, hanging out outside the front door of every business in Las Vegas at all times. So it's like, yeah, not ideal.
Well, how far are you guys from the strip?
We're like 15, 20 minutes from the strip.
Okay, so yeah,
everything is 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like I think about how many fucking one, like the education system was like voted, it's like the 49th out of 50th in terms of all states, which is fucking horrible. But then I also think about like how many, like I'm not thinking about the kids in Vegas. I'm thinking about like the parents in Vegas, because I'm like, who's having kids? Like everybody has kids. So I'm like, okay, they're all like, fuck, a lot of them are going to be like service industry motherfuckers who are like doing bumps in the middle of their shift to get through. And then it's like, okay, then they're going to have coke at their fucking house. And if I was a kid and my parents had drugs at the house, I absolutely would fucking find it, because I did find it. And I'm like, and then I got to worry about my kids doing your kids coke and like fucking Molly. And then I think about like what I did as a kid and how much I lied to my parents, how much I lied to everybody else. And I'm like, no, that like my blood pressure is already bad enough. I will fucking have a stroke and either kill myself or like everybody around me, because that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it doesn't even happen yet. You're already getting stressed out.
Yeah.
Ohio's ready whenever you want to come back. It'll forever be, the wonderful place it once was. With
I know it.
That's the permanent quandary, right? Is like, are you better off, kind of living somewhere expensive that is like a paradisey kind of place, but you can't really travel a ton, right? Because it costs so much to live and everything costs a ton. Or you live somewhere cheap, like Ohio, like Michigan, and it's like that's your cheap home base. And then you can travel wherever the hell you want because you have the money to, because you're living in a cheap home base. It's like, what's better, being in paradise all the time, or having the option to go to whatever paradise you want to go to, kind of, at your leisure. But
yeah, and and that shit you got to figure out as you go through. I'm a big proponent of like, I don't want to say like moving away, but like not staying in one place your whole life, just to see, and feel what it feels like to be in other places and like get a sense of like how you're going to react to it as an individual. So,
do you miss seasons at all being in Vegas? I know it's kind of
yes, a lot. That's one of the biggest things that I like dislike about Las Vegas is the fact that there's no real seasons. It's like summer and not summer, and that's it. Because summer is like 100, like never lower than 95 degrees, and it's dry, so it's like not horrible. Because this is like the type of 100-degree weather where you can be outside and like be okay because there's no humidity. But then you also get the deep summer where it's like 115, 120 degrees outside and it's sunny. And then even though it's dry, it feels like you're living in a convection oven. And you're literally like, it feels like your skin is peeling off because it's just so like surface hot.
Yeah, literally,
so those are
describe it as like when you open the oven and your face is a little bit too close, but it just doesn't stop.
It's that rush of oven air. That's like one of those nights where like within the first couple of months of Bree and me moving here, we're like we're all fucked up. We're either drunk or on drugs or some shit, walking out of a fucking casino, and it's like 12:30 midnight, like at night, and walk out the doors and get hit with that oven air, and I like had a shit fit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I had a moment where I was like, I can't fucking live here because I'm like sweating inside and it's AC inside. And then I walk out into this and it's like, oh, we got to walk to the parking garage like a mile away. And I'm like, no, what the fuck? Like, I can't fucking do this, man. It's crazy. But that's like the summertime. And that's kind of what you have to prepare for. And why, like, if you move out here, you got to just expect to run the fuck out of your AC unit. And summer, deep summer, and then not summer because there's no real seasons, but it's just like not that for 3 to 4 months out of the year. It's like it could be 80 degrees, it could be 40 degrees. It just depends on what month you're in and like what God decides on the day, because like there are periods of like winter, quote unquote winter, where we'll wake up and it feels freezing outside and it's like 40 degrees and it feels like that chill in the air that it could snow. But that only lasts like no more than like a week or two. And then everything after that, it's like those false summers you get in the Midwest or those fall seasons where it's like, okay, it's 80 degrees today, but then it's going to be 40 degrees in 2 days. And then it's going to be back to 90 in 2 days after that, and then it's going to rain for 4 days straight. And it's like you have no idea what's actually going on. And then that's a chunk of the year, and then it just skips back to summer, and it's 90 degrees again.
It just sounds like hell.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's really weird.
Just buy the plane ticket and visit.
Yeah, if you guys ever need seasons, I have guest bedrooms and all the pizza you could ever need.
I want Ohio pie, dude.
Come on out whenever. I got the guest rooms, I got the pizza. You guys are good to go. Anytime you want to show up, just show up.
So Joe actually celebrated with a fucking gigantic pizza after his meet. How big was that?
Oh man, Bree, how big were those pizzas? Do you remember?
Vessels.
Yeah.
26 inches.
26-inch pizza. It was stupid.
They were like
Yeah.
It was really dumb. Like it was decent pizza, but it was just fucking. It's like that circus food, Like people just get it because they're like, oh my god, look at it, it's so crazy, And it was decent. We literally only went there because it was named Fat Sully's, and it was like, okay, we have to go here. So.
Yeah, well, I sent him the PayPal for the meet. He's like, I'm taking everybody out.
Well, speaking of Sully's, you had the whole gang in town for the meet. And come out with everybody. It's the multiple generations of Sullivans all getting together and all enjoying themselves very thoroughly, which your dad always does. But I think this is the first time I've seen your grandpa at one of your meets, and he was also enjoying himself quite a bit. So
very, very much.
I can see where you get it from. But everyone knows your dad. He's like the all-time character, sports dad, cheerleader.
Mhm.
Psychopath, kind of like all bald in one at every meet. So he's always the best dude to actually see coming around. But cool seeing, Grandpa and seeing like, oh, this all makes sense. It's like, oh, yeah. If someone meets you, if they want to know, why you make sense, it's like, yeah, hang out with your parents, and it makes
Yep.
perfect sense. Then it's all good.
I know, it's so funny, man, because like we were at that pizza place, and it wasn't just me and my family. It was me, my family. So like my mom, my dad, my grandpa, my grandma, and then plus me and Bree, plus Chad and Bria Penson, plus Hunter Henderson. And by the end of the dinner, like Bria, and Chad and Hunter were all like, "We need to get the fuck out of here," because it's like too much. Because like as soon as we walked out, Chad's like, "That's all of you. You're just that, and you times like 6 is what the fuck." Because it just didn't stop, and it was just arguing and yelling and like, "I don't understand. What do you mean?" I don't know, just like back and forth over and over again. And Bree's like, why do you guys talk to each other like that? And it's like, we love one another. This is great. We're having a great time. And it's just fucking yelling, and it's incessant. And then my grandfather, which is where I get all of my fucking sarcasm and just like humor from, is just making these dry ass fucking corny jokes to our waitress the whole time, making her fucking miserable, because he's just like, what he says, like, "Can you bring me a lime?" And she brings like a cut up lime, and he's like, I asked for a lime. It's like, I'd like a whole one. And he's like, "Oh, you go down there and throw it to me." And he's like 83 years old, and he's like trying to get up over the fucking table, be like, no, hand it to me. And it's just this whole fucking thing. And like, I love my family, but I am very, very aware that they are a lot. And it is overwhelming sometimes, because it overwhelms me. And then I'm like, guys, I love you, but shut the fuck up.
It's always great for me because I get to see your dad like a few times a year. So when I do, it's like the right amount.
Yeah.
It's perfect the few times I do get to see him. Because he's like, any meet that dude shows up at, he's kind of like the dad of the whole meet. It's like everyone now knows him, because you can't be in a room with him and not be aware of his presence. He won't allow that to happen. So it's awesome to see. And obviously super cool for you. It's like, all right, that's the first place you're looking always. It's like, all right, you break your record, that's, you're looking for dad every single time, right? Like,
Well,
that's it.
Well, are you looking for your dad, or are you looking for Briani? Like, after that happened, who do you celebrate? Like, who do you want to celebrate that with immediately?
You can also plead fifth.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really have an answer for that, because it's like, I kind of talked about this in one of my posts. I don't remember which one it was, just talking about the weekend, but like, I don't, it's like, I don't discriminate. Like, I know all of my people are there, so I'm just looking for my people.
Yeah.
Because like, I had like shit, I hit my squat, and I had like literally just like looking this way. It's like Hunter and Joey Shepard are over here, and they're both my people. Like, they're both in my circle. Hunter and Joey Shepard. And then right in front of me is like, who is the head judge? Like Chico. Like Chico's a cock, but he's still one of my people because I've known him for fucking ever. So I'd still fucking count his ass. And then like immediately in front and to the left, it's like Briani is filming me, like kneeling in front of me. Behind her is my grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my dad, and Bree's parents, Brian and Cindy Terry. And it's like, I have like, no matter where I look or where I go to, I'm surrounded by my people. And like, you just said like, oh, well, you know where Joe gets it from. I am my dad. I'm very similar to my dad. So like, I know if I'm in a room, everybody's going to know who I am, because I go out of my way to be like, hey, I'm Joe. What's up? Like, who are you? Like, I don't like not knowing people. Like, if I'm going to be in contact with somebody, it's like, I'd like to know who this person is, just so I can try to like know them and like give a fuck about who they are, not just some like warm body in a room. So I had talked to the spotters, whether it was that time or like the year before. I know the judges. I know all these. I know the film crew, like Liz and Alberto and whatever. Like, even if I hit this squat, no matter where I look, I'm gonna share in that joy with somebody. So it was like I guess I don't even think about it. I just I know that if I hit it, I'm gonna have my people around me, and then that's what matters. So
I just remember anytime I'd compete, I wouldn't see shit, but I could always hear Anna's voice screaming. You'd hear like the distinct sound of just one voice in the crowd.
mm-hmm.
Can you?
Yeah, and that's really like what I hear. I heard a couple because it's always like there's always just like a couple different ones that I hear. And I didn't actually hear anything when I was squatting this time. Because like last year I heard Bree like yelling elbows, but it was just noise. But I remember like setting up. I hear Jake behind me and like off to the right, he was like, "Let's go turn it on" or something like that, or flip the switch or something. And then I actually remember hearing my grandma when I was like walking the weight out. She said it was like, "Let's go, Joey," or something. And that's like one thing that stuck out in my mind. But everything else was just like noise. I tend to hear Bree like cue me most of the time. I tend to hear my dad yelling because he and I both have like very distinct, like loud, gravelly voices. And yeah, like there was the one that stuck out was actually hearing my grandma, and that's probably the one. So
Which is gonna be really cool because that just pulls a lot of emotion.
yeah, dude, I was so emotional all day, and like even like at weight, like there those the photos I uploaded where I made weight, and it was like my dad on my left and my grandpa on my right. I started fucking crying like when Bree took those photos, just because I thought I'm gonna get emotional again, just because I didn't post about any of this, but like my family's had like a lot happen in the past couple of years, and even like the past 6 months. My grandpa Dave, the guy that was there, he got T-boned in down by his condo in Florida before Christmas last year, and actually got a traumatic brain injury, and has had to do like a bunch of speech therapy and like relearning his like gait and relearning how to walk and stuff. And he used to be like he's really really quick and really really like snappy and like clever, but he used to be even like faster. And the car accident really fucked him up because like I guess if he was like 1 second faster, he almost definitively would have died because like like the chick hit him going like 65 miles per hour or something. It was a really violent collision. So to have him there, and my grandma always, she comments on all my Facebook stuff and my Instagram stuff, and she's always like, "You're my hero, Joey," and like shit like that. And it's just like adorable. Like I love my grandma. But like having my grandpa there, almost like he really got messed up this past year, and then having my dad there. I don't know if Nick, I don't know if he told you about this, his fucking health scare. A week, so 2 weeks ago from this upcoming Thursday, so like 12 days ago now, or 13 days ago now, he actually had to go to the hospital because his throat closed up. He went into anaphylactic shock because he is allergic to aspirin. And he had a really, but he herniated a disc in his back, and it's been really painful. And I guess he just didn't think about it, or didn't think it would be that bad, because sometimes it's not that bad of a reaction. But he took a fucking aspirin, and my mom found him on the kitchen room or the kitchen floor, like blue, because he was fucking asphyxiating. And they ended up getting him to the ER and shooting him full of adrenaline and some other fucking injectable corticosteroids, and it got his throat to open up. But like I almost lost my dad like 13 days ago. So to like have him still be at the meet was insane, and like just it's a lot of emotion for me, because like you guys see I upload those photos like every year, because there's always never a shortage of content of it, of like me hugging my dad and like sharing words with my dad and just being happy with my dad, because like there's a reason he's at every one of my competitions. He's coached me, he's been a coach of mine since like the AYSO soccer leagues when I was like 4, and he was my head high school wrestling coach. He used to compete in powerlifting back in the day. He competed with Ed Cohn in the late 80s, early 90s. And just to have both my dad and my grandpa and everybody else there it meant the world to me, because like I know just as easy how like they may not be there, and I know that like I don't plan on stopping powerlifting in anytime soon, but like I think about my papa, who is my dad's dad, because that Grandpa Dave is my mom's father. But my papa, who is my dad's dad, who's the one that I like really grew up at his house, and he was like a really big father figure to me. He came to Raw Unity, the Raw Unity 7 7 in 2014, and cheered for me there. And that was the last powerlifting meet he was ever able to make it to of mine. And he passed in 2019. And he would always call me or like send or post a video on Facebook wishing me luck before all of my meets and whatnot. And I sometimes think about, I wish that he could still be around to like see the stuff that I'm doing. I know he still is seeing it, but like it's just you gotta treasure it when you have it, because you don't know when you're not gonna have it.
Right. It makes those moments even more special.
Yeah.
And also, to lighten the load a little bit, how your dad put that story to me was the most your dad way possible. He's like, yeah, hurt my back, setting up for this Irish music festival. Took an aspirin. I'm allergic, but fuck it. I was gonna fight through the reaction. No big deal, whatever. He said, next thing I know, wake up, I'm in the fucking hospital. For 6 hours, these assholes. I go home, take a nap, load the fucking car up, hit the road, the festival, we're good. I was like, cool, bro.
And that is that is
yeah. Compare how he told me that story to Joe's story of like, oh, found blue, almost died, was on the edge, and your dad's just like, another fucking day, I'll die when I want to. Fuck it.
that is literally. It's like, where do I get that shit? It is from him, because he's like, it wasn't my time. He's like, if I had anything to say about it, I wasn't gonna do it. No way. And it's like, well, you don't have fucking a lot to say about it when you're passed out on the fucking floor, bro.
And when you get older, you just don't give a fuck.
No,
at all.
No, absolutely not.
All right, so if you weren't a full-time powerlifting coach, what would your career be like? Or is this your dream job?
I mean, well, I'd say this is like my dream. Like, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do, and I think I can like do more and do it better. So like I'm always trying to do better and do stuff like that and expand my like horizon or field or whatever. But realistically, if I wasn't like powerlifting, I probably would still be doing the heating and cooling, because I did heating and cooling for like years and years, leading into like me stopping and just focusing on coaching. But I don't know. That's a hard question to answer for me, just because I've done so many different things. Because like I was like an install guy for like HVAC systems, but I also have an exercise physiology degree, and I worked in the Mount Carmel hospital system in Columbus for like 2 or 3 years, and I have like a bachelor's of science in exercise science and kinesiology. I got accepted to physical therapy school and doctor osteopathic medicine school, but chose not to go. So I don't really know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this, because there were a lot of different things that I could be doing or could have continued to do, or could have just started doing something entirely different also. Because like a part of me now like thinks about going back to school and looking into like more of the neurology and like neuroscience aspect of things, just because I've due to my own like nerve injury and whatnot, I've had to explore a lot of different stuff when it comes to neuroplasticity and like motor learning and stuff like that. And that stuff is fascinating. But it's also like I have no idea what I would do with that. So I don't know. I really have no idea. It's kind of like the world is my oyster because I've done a bunch of different shit. So
be a firefighter.
I was trying to be a firefighter also. Yeah. I got deep into the selection process, but then kept getting passed over. So I was just like, fuck this.
Because your mustache wasn't good enough, or
and so it's like there's this big like backlog. It takes like years and years to get hired. You like apply and then keep applying and keep going through it. And just because there's like so many candidates that they like work through, it's like they'll hire this chunk first, then this, then this. So like even if you're slotted to get hired, you might not get hired until like 5 or 6 years after you initially apply. And I actually forgot this happened, but Bree just pointed it out because she's listening and sitting on the couch. After I moved here and I signed a lease for a house, like a week after I signed the lease, I got a phone call from the Columbus Fire Department, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to move forward with your application." And I was like, "Fuck, okay, well, never mind. Take me off the list." And I'm pissed off now, but it's okay. It's going to work out.
Well, you made it work in Vegas just fine.
Yeah.
It's like, but now with coaching, even that's starting to get pretty watered down. In a lot of the stuff that Dan Bell has talked about recently. What's your whole stance on the fuck them kids? Are you pro fuck them kids or anti fuck them kids?
Well, it's like I kind of need. I'm not sure like what the rest of the conversation was like because all I know is about like the Wheeze thing, where Wheeze was like the content creators should get commission because like coaches are getting more clients because content creators are like bringing more people into powerlifting or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, kind of get your argument, but also shut the fuck up because it's like, if going by that logic, it's essentially like any product that is provided in any field should then have to fucking pay commission to like people who talk about that field itself. So it's like that it just sounded like an entitled little wiener, like trying to give his opinion when no one asked.
So pro fuck them kids.
Pretty much pro fuck them kids. Like I don't want to say fuck them kids because those kids are like the people that are eventually going to be the coaches and the OGs eventually and whatever. But
well,
like
the right ones will be, right? It's the right ones will stick around. The wrong ones are here for a blip and they'll be gone. Yeah. Like we talked about at the meet, it's like take it back to the Raw Unity days, take it back to 8, 9, 10 years ago, and it's like, oh, the people that are still around, those are the ones that will continue to be around. And how many waves of people have there been over that last decade,
Yep. And that's pretty much what I was gonna say. It's like fuck those kids in particular, because they're the ones that are like wasting everybody's time talking about nothing, being entitled, blah 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 blah. And like in powerlifting, there's a new generation that comes about like every 2 or 3 years. There's a million new faces and like 50 of the same ones. And that's how it's always been, and that's how it's always going to be. Because the people that love this sport and the people that do it because they love it and because they believe in it, they're gonna stay in it. And the ones that are like, well, I'm not getting mine, I'm not getting my fucking commission or my recognition, I'm gonna go do the next thing, they're gonna get the fuck out. And now they have a bunch of avenues to take to do that, like being TikTok influencers and fucking making content and not actually competing in anything, because a lot of people don't fucking need to compete in anything to get that fucking mental masturbation fucking validation that they're looking for on the internet these days. So fuck those guys, but
fuck certain kids.
Yeah.
Not all. Some will be around. Some will be okay, but the majority, fuck them. But now we'll do a few quick hitters and we'll get you the hell out of here. The fastest responses possible you can. Kevin's gonna rock it through a few. Quick hitters, go.
Favorite cheat meal.
Favorite cheat meal. Burger and fries, like fat burger, blue cheese, fucking like pimento cheese fries.
That's very specific.
Pimento is the shit. man.
There's a place out here that has pimento cheese
That's
fries.
literally dinner tonight.
Yeah, it might be.
I actually just found a burger spot down the street from here that has pimento burger, and I can't wait to go fucking get one.
Bro, pimento cheese is so fucking good. Pimento and like club crackers, that's like a Midwest delicacy.
You ever fuck with Merck's cheddar?
Yeah,
That's also a very Midwest thing.
shit's delicious. It's great. Any aggressively flavorful cheese, I am about.
All right, if we give you a plane ticket right now, where are you going? Anywhere.
Like any point, like
Anywhere.
Plain ticket.
anywhere. With brie or without? What?
You can go.
Okay. Then Italy, Rome, because we've been talking about going to Rome, and that would just be like, hey, let's go.
Italy's sick.
A lot of cheese in Rome. You'll get your cheese fix. You'll be good to go.
Yeah. See, there's cheese and bread. That's awesome.
All right, over under 5 years, kids, you and Bree.
Oh Jesus. Over. Yeah. I wanted to wait until you answered, but I was gonna say over. What?
You guys are still young, so that makes sense.
Yeah. That'd be a little quick. Like I still want to. Like I love Bree and I love kids and I love thinking about having kids, but that's a future Joe thing.
But I feel like it's a mandatory thing because your family is so. Your family loves your family so much that I feel like you're like obligated to make another generation. Like it's kind of just a thing that you have to do. Got to be more fucking Sullivans, I guess. You know?
That's really like how I look at it too, because it's like part of me is like, oh man, I don't know, like the world's so fucked up. I don't know if I want to bring these kids, like blah 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 blah. But then I think about it, I'm like, no, but like my family's fucked up and we love each other, and we need more of that.
Well, here's the thing: the people that suck have not stopped having kids. So the people that don't suck need to have the smart kids and the good kids. Right? Like there's
exactly
shitty kids. It's like, all right, cool. It's our problem to make the good ones. You know?
Yeah, and that's the whole fucking that's the whole theme or the whole plot to Idiocracy.
That movie rules.
Yeah, it does. It's like turning into a fucking a biopic or whatever.
What was the name of the president? Mountain Dew.
Oh, something
Mountain Dew Camacho, I think.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
All right, if you go head to head with anybody right now at full strength, you guys are on top of your game, no injuries, nothing. Who's it going to be?
Me and Hack. He's got the 800, 600, 900. And I genuinely believe that, like, if I don't think it's out of the cards ever, but like, if I didn't fuck my nerve up and didn't like have all the shit, just a lot of the shit happened to me, and like, I'm not making excuses for it because a lot of it was like my dumb training and bullheadedness and whatever. But I feel as though like I could reach the inverse of that, which would be like 900, 600, 800. And to go back and forth on that would be fun. But also like I'd love to go up against like Ed Cohn eventually, like in his prime or whatever. And then I think about how in 2017, when I wasn't hurt or wasn't hurt as much, just young and like new, I'm like the only guy that ever almost beat Yuri Belkin. So like I think about going against Yuri again and stuff like that.
Yeah, was it you and Jordan Wong a few years ago where you guys were going head to head with all the internet wrestling shit talking?
Yeah. That was more fun. That was another one where it was like fun, but then it wasn't, because like some of his friends or fans like started talking shit about my parents and like my mom, because my mom got pissed and was like, these guys are assholes. And then like somebody said something to my mom and I was like, now I'm gonna fucking kill everybody. So like that was more fun, but it like also wasn't it wasn't fun because it wasn't serious in the fact that like I didn't hate Jordan, but I also got like pissed and did the same approach where it was like, how dare this fucking guy think that he can even like hold a candle to me, because I totaled like 2006 at that meet and he totaled like 1790 or something. So it was literally like, shut the fuck up type thing. So I love Jordan.
I couldn't. I remember watching that back in the day. I could never tell if you guys were being serious or not. I'm like, these guys are really blowing up powerlifting hype here.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't serious, and then it was serious.
Yeah. if powerlifting had more of that, it'd be a way more entertaining sport. People need to actually like. There's a bunch of weird beefs all the time, and no one ever like lets them out because everyone's kind of like either too polite or too big of a pussy. And if everyone ended up like actually talking shit to each other all the time, whether it was serious or for jokes, think how much more entertaining head-to-heads it meets would be. It'd be the actual best.
Well, and dude, and that's a big problem with that is like not even like the weird beefs and then like people not saying shit about the weird beefs. It's like people don't know how to beef and not be like psychopaths also, because like I tried to do that like a little while ago with a certain lifter and then ended up getting hit with fucking false allegations of like sexual assault. And it's like, now I'm literally sending cease and desist letters. I thought we were having fun. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
that's just the world we live in now. Fun's canceled.
It's 0 to like 8 billion in a nanosecond.
Well, eventually we'll find a decent balance. At least you and Jordan have the good back and forth. So
yeah,
hopefully get lined up to go head to head, you know, next year or whenever the hell you feel like competing again. Whatever.
Yeah, he's doing the Ghost Clash, so I could do that.
No.
Right?
No. Absolutely not.
It's February. That's a long ways away.
Dude, I'm so over this shit.
His wife said no.
You're over it right now, but in like 2 months you'll be fine with it, and prep wouldn't have to start until fucking 2 months from now. You're fine.
Absolutely fucking not.
What if you get to go to Rome in between now and then?
Maybe.
Yeah.
See,
maybe.
You can buy permission with a trip to Rome. Look at that.
That's the only way.
That's how I approach everything.
See, negotiation. It's easy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Yeah, you want to give us any plugs or?
I
Anybody?
it probably have to be like 2-day air to get it there, but it's a butt plug joke. But no, you guys can find me on Instagram like Joe Sullivan _AOD. My website is theaodcollective.com. That's where all my coaching and my like Train Heroic program and programming is. And my email thing is there. So if you guys need to get a hold of me and I don't answer the DM because they get annihilated all the time, just shoot me an email over there. But also you can DM me because I'm generally on and get back to everybody. It just might take a minute, but thank you guys for having me. It was fun. I'm sorry I am less energetic than I normally am. I am dealing with the repercussions of being the best 220 squatter on the planet right now because I am fucking tired.
You just need a few more bong rips, dude.
Dude, I know. I swear to God, you guys are the only reason that I haven't eaten an edible today. But like as soon as we're off, I'm eating 10 milligrams and sitting in my recliner and not fucking moving.
Until you get up to go get your pimento fries.
Yes, exactly. But thank God we have DoorDash these days.
Can you send us a picture of the pimento fries or burger?
I will. If I get those tonight, I will. But I know I'll get it. If I don't get it today, I know I'm going to get it like in the next couple of days because Bree's going to coach at a meet this weekend. And my favorite thing to do when she leaves town for a night or two is to get like painfully, horrifyingly obliterated stoned and order more food than I can eat and just kind of hate myself in a little hole and be a little sewer rat that likes to eat dumb food. So
perfect.
Well, you earned it.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Joe.
Thank you guys.
We'll talk to you soon, Big Ed.
All right, thanks. See ya.